everyone, welcome to Whistler Fire Hall number 3. My name is James Ellis. I'm going to be your instructor for today. I'd like to welcome you all here for our lesson today. And today we're going to be talking about cooking fires. Alright, before we get into the lesson today, I'd just like to go over a couple quick housekeeping items. If anyone needs to use the washroom today, there's one located directly behind you on your right hand side. There's also another set of washrooms located just up the stairs out the door to your right in the main lounge. If we should have a fire alarm today at all at any time, then we're going to use the door on your left-hand side to exit the building, and then our muster point's just going to be outside in the fire hall parking lot. All right? And should anyone require first aid today at all, I am a certified first aid instructor and attendant, so I will be your go-to contact for that. All right? Great, perfect. So our first topic today with cooking fires is going to be discussing the fire triangle and the science behind it, and also how we can use the fire triangle in order to extinguish a cooking fire. Okay, so there's 3 components to the fire triangle. The first component is oxygen. So does anyone have any examples of where we would find oxygen? Air, exactly, perfect. Oxygen and air is all around us and readily available. So that component is almost present at all times, okay? The second component of the fire triangle is fuel. So we need fuel in order to have a fire. Can anyone give me any examples of fuel that they might find? Wood, absolutely. Paper, perfect. 2 very common and 2 very readily available fuel sources. Excellent, all right. And so there's one more component left to complete the fire triangle in order to produce the chemical chain reaction of fire, and that is heat. So we need heat in order to create that chemical chain reaction and produce a fire. What are some examples of heat? Your stove, absolutely. Matches, 100% yes. Very, very common sources here. So, now that we have our completed fire triangle with our oxygen, our fuel, and our heat, this now completes the chemical chain reaction and it produces fire. All right, so this is very important to understand the science behind this fire triangle, because we can use this to our benefit. By eliminating one of these components of the fire triangle, we can extinguish a cooking fire. Okay, so we're going to look at how we can do that right now. So, if I was at home cooking my breakfast on the stove, and all of a sudden I had to run away to the TV because there's something super exciting on. The World Cup's on right now. There was a big goal scored. I forgot about my breakfast, so I ran over to the TV. I come back and, oh my goodness, my pot is now on fire. What can I do to extinguish this? What's a nice, safe way that's not going to get me in harm's way? What can I do? So, I'm going to look at the fire triangle, and I'm going to eliminate one of these 3 components in order to break that chemical chain reaction. All right, so the easiest way that I think I can do that is I'm going to remove the air and the oxygen from that equation. So once I have these 2 removed, that should extinguish the fire. Now, how I'm going to do that? My pot's on fire right now. There's a few flames kind of licking up out of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pot lid and I'm going to carefully slide that over and smother that fire. Now, all the air has suffocated that fire. There's no more air left in that pot, so that breaks that chain reaction, and now that fire will extinguish. So you can see how by utilizing the science of the fire triangle, we can extinguish a fire safely and effectively. So we'll go into a few more examples. We'll break into some groups in a few minutes here and talk about different ways that we can use the fire triangle to extinguish fires. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick 15-minute break. If anyone needs to use the washrooms, you're welcome to do so right now. Before we move on to our next topic after the break, does anyone have any questions regarding the fire triangle so far? No? Perfect. Okay, if you do, please feel free to put your hands up and we'll go over your questions for you. All right? We'll meet back here in 15 minutes. Thank you, class.